But yes, we're really happy today because with this initiative we managed to gather together here the networks that are doing activities through this series of events for the new European Bauhaus. So I'm really happy that we are jointly meeting for the first time ever, and I hope that this is the beginning also of something that will kind of unite us all and take us out of our siloed ecosystems, because we are all the same and we should be totally united and working all together at all times. So I would say just 2 words, because we're just finishing our conference, which is named Topia, and it's a framework of all the activities that we will be doing for this year, so until the end of the year. Inspired of course of the new European Bauhaus and about the original Bauhaus idea of making a building or a house, and we feel that it's important today to think about making a place and making the place for the better for us and for coexisting with everything that surrounds us. So this is like the ethos and what is behind the logic of all our activities coming next also. And I'm really happy to be with you all and also learn what you have been designing and incorporating in the festival now for the upcoming days. So first of all, I think we'll have a video from the European Theatre Convention, who unfortunately couldn't be with us today, and then we will continue with the rest of the group here. Thank you very much.
Is not only an opportunity to reimagine theatre, as our houses finally open again to the public. It's also a real opportunity to make changes to our buildings, our artistic productions, and our working processes, to address the climate crisis, and to achieve a sustainable theatre sector by the end of this decade, by 2030. This isn't an easy task, and one thing is clear: you can't make sustainability in theatre happen on your own.
That's right. You need to work in partnership with your technical teams,
with design and costume departments,
with artistic direction teams,
with internal and external theatre spaces.
Join forces with scientists, politicians, and sustainability experts.
And this across all your processes.
Together we have drawn up an ambitious Sustainability Action Code for theatres to fulfill our goal to become a climate-neutral network by the end of this decade, by 2030. The world around us is pointing towards action. Look at the EU Green Deal, the UN Sustainability Development Goals, the COVID-19 recovery funds. Theatre has so much power to reach across society, to stir and initiate debates about a more just and sustainable use of our resources. So we have set out 8 goals.
A sustainability strategy and action guidelines for theatres, so we can establish clearly measurable goals and actions to reduce and offset the sector's footprint after.
Sharing knowledge on best practices and training theatre professionals to change organizational practices.
Produce artistic vision for a greener and more just future through dramaturgies and performances on stage.
Creating territory models that sustainably strengthen European and international cooperation.
Encouraging public debate between artists, scientists, and stakeholders.
Giving visibility to our achievements, encouraging others to follow in our footsteps.
And continuing to reduce legislative documentation, informing and influencing policy regulations on EU and national levels.
This is the plan for our network and for all theatres. It's time to create now a greener, more sustainable, just and mindful future by the end of this decade, by 2030. Will you join us?
Thank you very much. And I would like to invite from the family a Europa Nostra representative, Who's here? That's it. Welcome.
Dear colleagues from the European Creative Hubs Network, what a setup. First thank you goes to you to bring us here in the middle of the Parc Royale in this kiosk. I think this is the most fabulous meeting room that we have ever had. And I'm a veteran in sort of European meetings. So fantastic. That's why you have the creative hubs, to make us even more creative and to encourage us to walk the talk. To be here in the middle of the park, we all are gathered during the new European Bauhaus Festival because we want to show that we should not be neglected as partners of the European Green Deal. On the contrary, that we should be one of the leading forces for the green transformation of our Europe, and that all what we are hearing and all what you are doing, we are clearly demonstrating that we are greening very much our activities. But what we have to unite even more our voices and forces in order that the European Green Deal becomes more cultural. And that is what is the new European Bauhaus. Again, Ursula von der Leyen said it from Rome. It is the soul, it is the heart, it is the, it's all what was missing. She said that was what was missing in the Green Deal. Let's hope that this is serious, but we know that you, our colleagues from the DG Education, the DG Act, Education and Culture, Barbara, the Creative Europe Program, and all the other colleagues here, the executive agency, we know that you believe in that. Not only they believe that you make it happen, because all of us, we would not be here if there was no Creative Europe Program, if there was not the agency, and if we would not just get your money, but that we get your trust. And this is with entrusting us, in fact, that label of being European Union supported cultural network. I think it gave us that responsibility, and we all boost, and I'm sure none of us would have become what we have become. Europa Nostra, next year we will be 60, and I suppose we will not be as youthful and as creative if we would not have had the support of the European Union, and of course then the engagement, most of the time voluntary engagement of so many people, professionals, volunteers working at local, regional, national, European level, engaging to preserve Europe's cultural and natural heritage. This is a wonderful piece of Europe's cultural heritage. In fact, I should be singing here, not talking. But with all the beautiful the names of the European composer here around, I think our newly appointed President Cecilia Bartoli will be very proud. So I will tell her next time she's in Brussels, we organize a meeting of networks here in this kiosk. Now, my message to you is that really, where are you, Lorena and Manon, who is from our Brussels office, I think we really need to build as many bridges between ourselves. And I know many of us, we didn't wait for the COVID pandemic or to the new European Bauhaus to do this. And that many of our networks already engaged in projects bilaterally, trilaterally. There is the new European Bauhaus Collective with the Organization of Architects, the Culture Action Europe. So we created also 10 years ago the European Heritage Alliance, which now have, believe it or not, 50 European or international networks dealing with cultural heritage in one or the other way. So some of them are also among the networks supported, some are not, but it's all showing that the force is l'union fait la force. That is the way we have all to continue. And this new European Bauhaus is giving us a fantastic stage for us becoming greener and us contributing to European Union in this green transformation, putting culture and cultural heritage where it belongs, at the very heart. of that green transformation. I will just end to tell you, thank you for the invitation us here. We want to invite you tomorrow at l'Hôtel de Ville, Town Hall. We are organizing a side event with the European Movement International, with the city of Brussels. We will have a debate on the fostering the famous values, peace, solidarity, sustainability, and beauty as the core values of the new European Bauhaus, with a debate. But then in the evening at 7 o'clock, we will have 6 young Ukrainian musicians who would give a wonderful concert for peace, classical and traditional music round. Come as much as you have to register. I think you will find it on internet, but I really hope whoever is here in Brussels, just join us there, because that will be another way to promote the voices, the culture of empathy that you have been promoting, I see in your program, and let's do it together.
Thank you. We love that. And yeah, it didn't sound at all, I have to say. So great. And I would like to invite now to the floor the Architects Council.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Theo Baitek, indeed from the Architects Council of Europe, so it's really a pleasure to be here. Thank you very much for organizing this event in this place. That's indeed very unusual, but it's really a pleasure to be here. So, as you can imagine, the new European Bauhaus initiative is of great importance for the architectural profession and for our organization. It really put the spotlight on the importance of having high quality architecture in the built environment, and so it's really a great initiative that we try to get involved in as much as possible. And so it was very important for us to organize an event during the festival. And so on Saturday, the 11th of June, we will organize what we have called a walk and talk. So it will be an event, one single event, but consisting of two parts. So in the morning, we will organize a guided tour of the Gare Maritime and tour and taxis. Actually, we decided to organize this visit there before knowing that the NEB festival will take place there, so it was quite a surprise and a coincidence. And I think this place can be regarded in many respects as a good illustration of the NEB core values. So it's about circular economy, it's about transforming and reusing a place with heritage value. It's about the use of renewable energy. So it's really, I think, a very interesting place as regards the core values of the NEB. And so we will take 2 groups of 25 people through the site to explain the process of transforming this site. And after a networking lunch, we will then, in a second step, have a policy debate, so a bit more classical event with several professionals from the built environment, including the Bauminister of the city of Brussels, and also students in architecture. So we hope it will be a lively debate, and so it will be an opportunity to continue the discussion in a more political perspective. So the event will take place on Saturday. It is not yet sold out. We still have a few places, so if you like to join, please visit the ACE website and sign up. So I hope to see some of you there, and thank you very much.
This is great, and I would like to invite our cousin, Topia Parc. The beloved cousin.
Hello, and thank you for this invitation. I'm very proud to be here with a representative from the Commission, from the DG, from other prestigious networks. So I like to introduce Trans-Europa usually as the punk network. Because we were born in the 80s, so we're going to celebrate next year our 40th birthday, from the squats of Northwestern Europe, and we developed a model of redeveloping through arts and culture these interstitial spaces that are abandoned, not cared for, and where the creative forces gather to transform creatively these spaces into thriving cultural spaces. So 40 years later, it feels like really, really nice to be here in an institutional space, but also in a public space with all of you to present where we are at right now. So we represent the interests of the alternative sector, the cultural sector that is now recognized, and we are very proud of this. We started in industrial buildings. Now we grew from a network of originally 3 members to a network of now 140 members all across Europe. And we are all established in repurposed industrial, military buildings, now commercial buildings, public spaces, etc. Our buildings have not been conceived originally like heritage buildings and other types of buildings to be very sustainable. And now that these new norms and standards are going to come up with the European New Green Deal, we need to prepare as the culture sector. So I, of course, defend my members and our centers at Trans-Europals, but I would like, I don't know who mentioned, yes, we need to come together. This is a fight that we need to fight together to create cross collaborations to actually match the challenges. And these challenges, thank you to the European Commission actually for organizing this really ambitious initiative to build the capacity of the sector, to prepare itself to fight this fight. But at the end of the day, the fight will be to keep our buildings alive, because the culture is the software, but it exists within the hardware. And the hardware are our buildings, and we need to save those buildings. And for that, we need to be knowledgeable about the policies, what is coming up for our sector. We need to be prepared, so we need to build our capacity, and this is what we are going to do through the Creative Europe program that we were granted, and thank you very much for trusting our network to run these capacity building programs, and also to, at the end of the day, have access to the necessary funding to actually fix and to fix this hardware, to fix the buildings, to be carbon neutral, climate change resilient. I'm not going to invite you to our event because we just ran from our event. We organized it at Recyclart, which is also an alternative center in Molenbeek. It was important for us to be in a space that looks like us at Trans-Europals, in the periphery, in a socially diverse neighborhood, in a repurposed industrial space. We presented our Rebuilding to Last program, which is a capacity building program to prepare our members to build knowledge about how to repurpose sustainably their buildings, but also to raise awareness among the sector of what is coming and how to be more prepared to address these challenges. So some of you joined us, and thank you for joining us. But we are very, very happy to be here. Thank you for the confidence you put in us. And I am really looking forward to look at intersectional collaborations, especially with the heritage sector, with the architecture sector. We work at the intersection of all of these sectors. And I hope to have many conversations with you all. Thank you very much.
Great. And now I would like to invite the European Music Council, please.
Thank you very much. So now we can talk a little bit about the software, about music and culture, and not so much about the buildings. This is our very direct contribution to the European Bauhaus Festival. You can just see my two very nice colleagues standing next to the mobile exhibition, where we actually have been selected to present the results of our SHIP project. The SHIFT project has been run with 9 European networks together, so actually we are servicing in a way the values of the European Bauhaus. We did it together and we were looking at sustainability goals. The networks were the International Music Council, the European Union for Competition for Music in Youth, the European Choral Association, IETM, Trans-Europe Pulse, we just heard about, ELIA, the Arts Education Networks, FACE, On the Move, and the European Music Council as coordinator of the project. Most of these networks are funded and present here. I'm very happy to see you all here around, but not all of them, so we also went beyond the funded Creative Europe networks. We looked, as I said, even before we knew about the Bauhaus initiative into sustainability. We looked at the UN sustainability goals and actually picked 3 out of them. One obviously was climate action. Another one was gender balance and more specifically power relations, also in the aftermath of the Me Too movement. And the third one was inclusion with a special focus on access for disabilities, for disabled persons. And without knowing, we also actually included a 4th sustainability goal, which is the 17th, cooperation. So again, we very much went with the Bauhaus values without really knowing about it. The 17th goal being cooperation and solidarity. So this is our very direct and also long-term indirect contribution to the Bauhaus initiative. We are now working on the legacy of our SHIFT projects, very much in the field of climate action, but also for the other topics that I have just mentioned. So the official project funding period, it was an Erasmus Plus funding project, is now over. We have already done a lot of work, so I can't say the work starts now, but it definitely continues. And I would actually like to end with a quote, because we, as I said, we did service the values of the European Bauhaus, but maybe not only, and I would like to challenge one term in the values of the European Bauhaus, which is beauty. And I would like to end with a quote from Stephen Walter, the director of the Beethoven Fest in Bonn, who said, when we talk about culture and when we talk about music, beauty, of course, is one thing, but meaning is a very, very important thing. And if we have to decide, we always have to put meaning above beauty. So we not only talked about beauty in our SHIFT project. Thank you very much.
And last but not least, Campus Construction Europe, which is a network which usually unites also all the networks. So that's great.
Thanks. What a treat to speak at a public event with sunglasses on. I think it's a first in my entire life. So I'm kidding. I'm gonna establish eye contact, but still, it was quite something. Indeed, Culture Action Europe. Well, 3 of the networks you have heard from are our members. 2 are our very well-established partners. So it's a and they have already said most of the things I could have elaborated on, so I'm happy to conclude, and will need to be short also because I believe there are talks and drinks waiting for us. But for those who are not our partners or members, Culture Action Europe is the cross-sectorial cultural network, so bringing together many of the networks that you already know, but also organizations, individuals, policymakers, and trying to, as the Commission knows well, always bring culture at the heart of EU policy making. I mentioned it is a cross-sectorial network, so if we look at the main features of the new European Bauhaus, we are very much happy that it is indeed a cross-sectorial project, a cross-sectorial initiative that intends to tear down silos from within the institutions, but also among disciplines, which is a key, which is absolutely a key thing. We have published 2 months ago, I believe, position paper on the new European Bauhaus. It was the product of consultation within our membership, where we listen to indeed this diverse membership that goes from organizations that run physical places, those who work with public spaces, and we are happy to see that is a feature also of the European Bauhaus, to intangible form of art. So at the end of that, we consolidated a position that, if I can synthesize very quickly, put, I would say, the people at the center and the artists at the core of this initiative, not only in the development of the European Bauhaus, but also in the co-design phase has already happened, but in the continuation of the co-design phase, having indeed artists and cultural workers to have a say, not forgetting also one of the key features that is also high on the agenda of the EU institutions, that is the fair remuneration and the working conditions of the artists. So when we speak of sustainability in the framework of the new European Bauhaus, we should not forget also the social sustainability and the sustainability of the cultural work that is key. So the other thing, so indeed on the environmental sustainability, the other networks have already elaborated, but I believe that the idea also of using the fact that the European Bauhaus is coming at the same moment as a new hype for the debate on the working conditions in the cultural sector is something to be linked together and to be further explored. And to conclude, indeed, what I was mentioning before, creating occasions for engagement with other sectors. Today I was at the New European Bauhaus Festival in Garmaritime, and there were very interesting projects bringing together the fields of innovation, that of arts and culture. So that is precisely what the power of the new European Bauhaus, we believe, but at the same time that should not, if I may say so, become the mold for all cultural projects to respond to and to fit in. That is why we are happy that there is a Creative Europe project self-standing like that, and that the European Parliament has asked for the future, and the future MFF in many years to come, but still to have a dedicated program for the new European Bauhaus when it comes to funding. But that's pretty much it. So we contributed with this paper, and we hope. I also used this occasion to train a bit for the workshop that we will have tomorrow, hosted by the Creative Europe desks again at Gare Maritime here in Brussels, when indeed we will move from the paper to discuss the role of arts and culture in the new European Bauhaus. If I may conclude with that, this morning I was reading, as I guess many of you, the newsletter of Politico, where the new European Bauhaus was mentioned. And I started playing the Where's Wally or Where's Waldo, that depends on the linguistic diversity and which you watched or read or got to know it. But culture was not that much there, was not visible in that piece, in that article, in that newsletter. However, as we see it from today, it is clearly part of the new European Bauhaus. So probably it's also not only on the institutions, but also on our end and our side to make it more visible. And with that positive note, I conclude, and thanks for the space.